Who were the true Rockefellers behind the illustrious family portraits, vast real estate empires, and titanic business ventures? What tales of power, ambition, and controversy are woven into the fabric of their American dynasty? Their luxurious estates, extravagant parties, and vast wealth painted a picture of the American dream. Yet behind this glimmering facade lay a web of scandals and controversies. Our tale begins in the mid-19th century with a man named John D. Rockefeller. Born in 1839 into modest circumstances, Rockefeller's path to power was far from predestined. Yet through his entrepreneurial spirit and unparalleled business acumen, he managed to transform a small trading business into an international oil empire known as Standard Oil. By the late 1880s, Standard Oil controlled nearly 90% of the oil refineries in the United States. With this monopoly, the Rockefellers amassed a wealth that was virtually unprecedented, making them one of the wealthiest families in the world. Yet the Rockefeller story is not solely one of wealth and power. The family has also left an indelible mark on the world through their philanthropic endeavors. From funding the University of Chicago and establishing the Rockefeller University to donating land for the United Nations headquarters in New York, the Rockefeller legacy is intricately intertwined with many facets of American society. Their contributions to the fields of education, health, and environmental conservation have indeed shaped our world. But for all their contributions and success, the Rockefellers' journey hasn't been without its shadows. As John D. Rockefeller's Standard Oil empire grew, so did the scale of controversy surrounding it. The company, by the late 19th century, had gained an iron grip on the American oil industry. Yet their rise to dominance was steeped in business practices that many saw as ruthless and unfair. Through aggressive price cuts, acquisitions, and business strategies, Standard Oil pushed many competitors out of the market. Critics accused Rockefeller of building his monopoly through unsavory means. The vast power wielded by one private corporation began to raise serious concerns among the public and the government alike. In 1906, the U.S. government, under the Sherman Antitrust Act, filed a lawsuit against Standard Oil. The case argued that the oil giant was a dangerous monopoly, stifling competition and manipulating oil prices at their whim. After a lengthy legal battle, the Supreme Court in 1911 made a historic decision. They ordered the breakup of Standard Oil into 34 independent companies, some of which later evolved into modern-day energy giants like ExxonMobil and Chevron. Fast forward a few decades to the political arena of the 20th century, where we find another Rockefeller at the heart of controversy, Nelson Rockefeller. Unlike his grandfather John D., who ruled the oil industry, Nelson's ambitions lay in the political sphere. From his tenure as the governor of New York to his unexpected ascension to the vice presidency under Gerald Ford, Nelson's political career was marked by both success and scandal. His moderate Republican views and strong leadership often put him in the spotlight, but it was his personal life that caused the biggest stir. In 1961, Nelson shocked the nation when he divorced his wife of over 3 decades, Mary Rockefeller, to marry Margaretta Large Fittler, better known as Happy. The divorce and remarriage caused a public uproar, shattering his image as a family man. The scandal was seen as a significant factor in his failed bid for the Republican presidential nomination in 1964. Public opinion had turned, and the divorce controversy would shadow his political career, highlighting how private choices can have public consequences, even for America's elite. Yet, in true Rockefeller fashion, Nelson's story didn't end there. The saga of his vice presidency and the further controversies that surrounded the Rockefeller family were still to come. If you're enjoying this video, I would love it if you could give this video a like. It's a great way for me to know if I'm doing a good job and creating content that's not just informative, but also enjoyable to my audience. Moving beyond the political sphere, another chapter of the Rockefeller legacy unfolds: their philanthropy. The Rockefeller Foundation, established by John D. Rockefeller and his son in 1913, aimed at promoting the well-being of mankind throughout the world. Yet even within their philanthropic endeavors, controversy was not far behind. One notable initiative, the Green Revolution, sought to combat world hunger by promoting new technologies and high-yield crops in developing nations. Though it led to increased agricultural productivity, it also sparked significant backlash. Critics argued that it promoted dependence on genetically modified organisms, chemical fertilizers, and pesticides, leading to environmental damage and socioeconomic disparities among farmers. Earlier in the Foundation's history, its funding of social sciences also drew criticism. Many pointed to grants supporting eugenics research in the early 20th century, a period when eugenics was seen by many as legitimate, but which we now understand was a deeply flawed and harmful pseudoscience. Furthermore, the Foundation's significant influence over public policy through its grant-making has raised questions about power imbalances between philanthropic institutions and societal needs. The mid-20th century brought us to another controversial Rockefeller, Winthrop, who, like his brother Nelson, found his calling in public service. Yet Winthrop's political journey took him to a different stage, the governor's mansion in Arkansas. Elected governor in 1967, Winthrop was the first Republican to hold that post in Arkansas since the Reconstruction era. His administration brought significant changes and controversy in equal measure. Particularly, his stance on civil rights and social issues put him at odds with a state that was grappling with the throes of desegregation. Winthrop's support for civil rights, especially school desegregation, made him a divisive figure. While many lauded his progressive stance, others vehemently opposed it. This controversy was exacerbated by his commitment to reforming the state's penal system, which drew both praise and criticism. His attempts to modernize the state's archaic prison system met significant resistance. Critics called his policies too lenient, while supporters saw them as necessary for a humane and effective penal system. Now we turn to the late David Rockefeller, whose career in banking and international diplomacy made him a central figure in numerous conspiracy theories. The most pervasive of these is alleged involvement in orchestrating a so-called New World Order. These theories typically portray a clandestine globalist agenda aimed at establishing a centralized authoritarian world government. David, with his immense wealth and influential relationships, was often depicted as a key player in this supposed conspiracy. While it's true that David held significant global influence, serving as chairman of the Chase Manhattan Bank and being a founding member of the Trilateral Commission, these positions are a far cry from the covert, globe-spanning control alleged by conspiracy theorists. Most credible scholars and journalists dismiss these theories due to a lack of empirical evidence and their reliance on fear and speculation. Instead, they point to a more nuanced understanding of global power dynamics, one that recognizes the influence of wealthy individuals and institutions but stops short of assigning them complete global control. David's story, like those of his relatives, is a testament to the fascination and suspicion that often accompany immense wealth and power. As we've seen, the Rockefeller legacy is marked by both groundbreaking contributions and controversy, a pattern that continues to shape their story today. Looking back at the Rockefeller family's history, it becomes clear that their extraordinary accomplishments have often been shadowed by controversy. These scandals and contentious episodes have left indelible marks on their legacy, shaping perceptions and stirring debate. Yet throughout these turbulent times, the Rockefellers have demonstrated a remarkable resilience. They've often responded to criticism with increased transparency, public dialogue, and a reinforced commitment to their philanthropic initiatives. Despite the controversies, their contributions to fields as diverse as business, politics, philanthropy, and the arts have remained significant. Stepping back and looking at the wild ride of the Rockefellers, I've realized their legacy isn't just one thing. It's a mix of huge accomplishments and big controversies. They went from oil tycoons to governors, from generous givers to the subjects of some pretty wild conspiracy theories. I've come to see that the Rockefellers aren't simply good or bad guys in our history, but a complex mix that defies easy labels. What do you guys think? Are the Rockefellers heroes, villains, or something in between? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.